Peace, family. You are listening to the Classroom and the Cell podcast. This is your brother, Mark Lamont Hill.
And your other brother, Mumia Abu Jamal.
You know, Mu, last time we talked, we ended up talking about Beyonce and the kind of cultural power that she has, and specifically thinking about how she was able to use the imagery of the cowboy and the imagery of the flag as a way of sort of maybe reclaiming the black cowboy and reclaiming.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Mahanoy.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
As a way of reclaiming not just the black cowboy, but also maybe black country music, and maybe even, if we want to go real generous in our interpretation, maybe even a reclaiming of black folk and America, right? You know, she's wearing the flag, she's wearing the colors, she's, you know, embracing the iconography and the symbol of the American frontier, etc. Again, we know there have been black cowboys forever, but the white cowboy has become the face of America in so many ways. And one of the things that I've noticed in the last couple of days is that many of the people defending her or defending her choices, some are just Beyonce stands who are going to like whatever she do no matter what. She could come out two-stepping in a Klan uniform, and they're going to be like, yep, that's it, you know.
You look good.
You look good, right, exactly. But then there's people who are saying something more interesting and nuanced to me, which is, you know, we are black Americans who built this country through, you know, through enslavement and through, you know, forced labor. And instead of looking in a kind of Pan-African way, you know, to our roots in Africa, you know, or our roots elsewhere, that we should focus on the black tradition here, that we should see ourselves as black Americans. You know, there's a movement, ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery. There's another movement, FBA, Foundational Black Americans, which don't necessarily get down with each other socially or politically, but they do share an idea that as black folk in America, we have a unique justice claim to reparations, but also they're making a cultural claim. It's not just about the justice claim of reparations. They're saying that we're Americans, and I noticed that they put flags in their online biographies. They own the Americanness of their project by making it sound by talking about how American they are. They're not Trumpers.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Mahanoy.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
You know, they're not Trumpers or anything. You know, although some of them have some weird xenophobia and other things around it. But at the core, they're trying to root us here in America and say, look, we've been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, why are we looking at Africa still? We have Black American music, Black American food, Black American, you know, rites of passage. Let's focus on our Americanness and reclaim that and take that away from the white supremacists and from our oppressors. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that both can be true at the same time, and I'll tell you why. A lot of the foundational Black American, or FBA, you talk about, it's really probably traced in what I'd call Afrophobia, the fear of Africa, you know, and that's deep in American culture, right? But when you really interrogate American culture, brother, what is American culture without black Americans creating it? When people around the world think about America, they think about Motown. They think about hip-hop. They think about, like you said, Denzel Washington. They think, you know,
right. Yeah.
And because our groundbreaking is so phenomenal in terms of a black community, right? But, you know, the roots cannot be ignored. You can't admire the tree and ignore the roots of the tree. You know, Malcolm talked about, he said, you know, we might be born in America, but that don't make us Americans. He said, you know, that was very deep in his analysis of who we are. Well, who we are changes. Who we are is transformed by generation. And who we are, even though we're deeply related to our ancestors, you know, at the level of chromosome and consciousness, you know, in many ways, we're different from them, because who are we but the dreams of our ancestors? You know, they're things that black people in the 60s of the 20th century and the teens of this century have accomplished that many of our ancestors could not have dreamed of. But because of the persistence, right, of white supremacy and its profound Negrophobia as a foundation of what white American nationalism is, you know, we are not without, you know, resistance in every area of American life. So, you know, it's possible to say, yeah, we are who we are, but it's not uncontested, you know. And you can talk about being a foundational black American. You can wear the flag on your lapel or on your beret or in your beard. You know, you can do all that. But guess what? It ain't going to stop what happens when a cop stops you. And think about the brothers in Mississippi who were tortured just, you know, recently. And they were tortured because of the space that black people occupy in a white supremacist nation. Remember Fanon. In a racist nation, racism is normalized. So it ain't changed.
And is that, you know, for some people that racism, that shared sense of oppression isn't global in the same way. Anti-blackness might be, and racism and white supremacy might be global, but that there's a way that we still can be rooted at home in a black American cultural tradition in a way that people do globally all the time, whether it's a black group in Brazil or a black group in the continent. It's not a single African, you know, people are much more tied by clan and tribe than by some singular African identity on the continent. I mean, obviously all identities and all communities are imaginary at some level, but are we as black Americans overly investing in the Pan-African vision in such a way that we lose sight of a unique commitment and connection to black folk here in terms of getting reparations, in terms of understanding our cultural connections, in terms of all of these things? Are we losing something by looking too broadly and not focusing enough internally?
Again, it's a question of degree. And, you know, like when we ignore what our history teaches us, we lose something vital, right? I was just telling a sister a few days ago about Robin D.G. Kelly's book, Hammer and Hoe, and how me reading that blew my mind because I learned so many things about things I had no idea about, right? About the black agricultural unionizing movement, about the work of the Communist Party, you know, in the deep parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and the South, and the repression, vicious repression by the state, because these people wanted, you know, 2 cents more, like a day or a week. It just, you know, I would have loved to have learned about that when I was 17, right? Because it would have expanded my head about who we are and what our history is. And so, you know, we can't forget the ancestors who came before us and what they went through to bring us forth. But we are still, no matter where we are on the planet, we're still an African people. You know, I think we're the richest African tribe on the planet. Now, it may be contested. I know some Nigerians who feel pretty tight about it.
Right.
But, you know, it's coming through us, not to us, you know. When I saw, what's the brother that did Good Hair?
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. And how much sisters spend on hair. It blew my mind. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a crazy number. It's like a wild number.
Like, wow. I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? But that, you know, we have to, it's not either or. We have to study both. Because all of that is a part of all of who we are.
I think that's right. I think that's right. And I think the Beyonce moment with her kind of embracing American imagery, you know, some people tried to say, no, it's a Liberian flag. You know, they were doing their best to make this not something American. And I'm like, nah, I can see the star underneath them stars underneath. That ain't no Liberian flag. It's a bunch of stars underneath there. We can
and
see
even
that.
it's a Liberian flag. Where did they get their flag from? Come on now.
Exactly.
You don't hear me though.
Right.
Brother, they pulling my chain, man. It's 401.
Oh man. Okay, handle your business, man. We don't want no problems, man. You handle your business, man. I love you, man. We'll talk next week.
Love you, brother. All right.
We'll talk soon, man. On the move.
On the move.
All right, family. You've been listening.
The caller has hung up.
All right, family. You've been listening to the Mumia Abu-Jamal insights and a little bit of mine, Mark Lamont Hill, on the Classroom and the Cell podcast. If you want to get more episodes, more insight, more of what we do every single week, all you got to do is go to the Classroom and the Cell official home, and that is on YouTube. Go to Mark Lamont Hill Official, the Mark Lamont Hill Official YouTube channel. You can find all of our content, all the Mark and Mumia conversations, all the Classroom and the Cell episodes. And on top of that, in addition to that, you can also find other content on the Mark Lamont Hill Official channel, including conversations on race, politics, justice, whatever you want to talk about, we probably got it there. And of course, Monday through Thursday, you can check out Night School. Night School is the nightly program, 10:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday on the Mark Lamont Hill Official YouTube channel, where we talk about all the issues going on in the world and we break it down. It ain't TV, it's a big classroom. All right, family, I'll talk to you soon on the move.